man, that would be awesome. Put a picture of Willie Nelson on the side.
So are we doing more of the boat, or are we gonna do the?
Nah, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to waste any more of it because I'm not gonna drink it. I'm really not feeling it today.
So do you want to do episode 6 then?
I do, but
I hear you, but if we're not drinking, if only I'm drinking it, that ain't gonna
suck.
ain't gonna work.
My stomach can't take it.
That's hey, dude. That's fine. We're. It's not a high pressure thing.
I know.
We can just call it.
I know. But the conversation was really
Yeah.
I just, in reality, I kind of wish like we could pull back the camera, right, and like observe not just Earth, but just our galaxy alone, right?
Yeah, it's massive.
Just pull back and observe our galaxy and just look and see all the different things that's actually going on. None of the shenanigans, none of the bullshit, none of the media lies in that, but actually just truly see what's really going on. Just because, like, there's so much shit that just doesn't make sense. And to me, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm like, we know something weird or things are happening. We just can't pinpoint them, right?
Yeah.
And then you get these weird ass explanations or weird ass stories or media coverage or whatever, and it's like, but why? Like, what's the real reason behind why this is happening? Why are you telling us this fabricated story? What are you trying to cover up? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that gets my gears like turning, man. It really does. And that's how I end up going down the fucking rabbit holes that I end up going down.
Yeah. I'll get in spurts of following that type of stuff. And then after a couple months, I just gotta like flip that switch and just ignore everything. Because it's like, I will go postal if I keep listening to these people.
Bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. It's and that's the thing, it's a lot of crazy shit going on. But then when you look at society in general, right? People are mad.
Yeah.
Like they're literally, and not mad like angry, but like out of their fucking minds. Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why would you respond that way? Or why would you do that? Like,
They're disconnected from what average people deal with.
that part. There you go.
They're completely disconnected.
Yeah.
They live in such a bubble that they think that this must how it be for everybody. No. Most people don't think about any of the things that you deal with on a daily basis.
No, they don't.
And the only reason you're supposed to be elected to be there is to handle those higher echelon things so that we don't have to. That's the whole point. And there's too many of them there.
Yeah.
Federal government has overstepped its fucking size and bounds in ways that everyone as an American failed to let them get that big.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
And they're supposed to fear the public, not us fear them. That's what the foundation of this country was based on.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, well, we need the federal government to take care of homeless people. No, we don't.
Well, if you try to go and take care of a homeless person, if you try to go out and feed the homeless, just go out one weekend and try to feed the homeless and see if you don't get a citation or a ticket and they don't tell you that you have to have a permit or a license to do what you're doing.
Yeah, to help your fellow man.
Right? Like, why do I have to have a permit or a license to feed people who are starving?
What, you mean I have to have a government-assigned LLC to be a nonprofit to only actually spend 5% of my income from that business to help people? Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll throw $2 million parties and then give the poor $2,000. Right. That's really helping people.
It's insane, man. It really
This is why I like cars. I put gas in it, it goes vroom.
simple. It's simple.
It's mechanical. It's basic. And it's a pursuit to tune it the best way that that particular combination of parts can be. How much can I squeeze out of this?
It's a 3D puzzle.
It's great. It's like it's adult Legos.
I like that concept.
It literally is.
I like that concept. Yeah. Yep.
And the average Toyota Corolla is a put together, paint it yourself model, snap level 1. Because a rear bumper on a Corolla or Camry is 2 screw 10 mil bolts and 9 clips, and it comes off.
That's interesting.
That's it.
I mean, I literally assembled a 1996 Honda Civic E hatch in my garage in less than 17 hours.
I could take your bumpers, hood, deck lid, and your doors off and doors completely detrimmed in 3 hours. Completely dismantle your car. And then I could have the engine out in another hour.
That's crazy.
I could fuck somebody's day up. And all I'd need is a 10 mil, a Phillips and a flathead, a 12 mil, and maybe, depending on the model, a 7, an 8, or a 14. That's all you need. Completely fuck somebody's day up.
That's wild, man. Wow, it's my car.
Well, how am I going to get my door back on?
Dude. It's funny because it's like when I was into the car scene like that, like I would take a car apart any time of day, bro. Like when I worked for Toyota.
Sorry, hold that thought real quick. This is the Sober Podcast.
Oh shit.
Episode 6. Sober. We're putting it out. All right. Continue.
When I worked for Toyota, right? Because I worked for Toyota for about half a year, and I worked as an interior. Okay, so you know the dealership, right?
Yeah.
They
have it all cut into sections, and they have your electrical, your interior, your used version of all that, mechanic, transmission, all
and
that.
then they say, okay, well, this customer bought this car, and they want this package and this and this and that, right? So they bring the car in, and it was my job and my partner's job to basically put your spoiler on, put in your leather interior, do the door panels, and do all of that shit. And I'm like, when I started that job, I was like, I never realized, like, all of these cars start off as basic, and then they come in here, and then predominantly a lot of that stuff gets put in.
That, different dealerships do it different ways.
Yeah.
Because when I worked for Chevy, they came how they came. I guess Toyota. I'd never heard that Toyota did it like that.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Interesting.
Yeah. So we would go in and we would put in the leather interior, the trim, all that kind of stuff. And it's just like, man, I remember one time we had a guy come bring his, oh man, that day was so bad. They brought in a 4Runner, and the customer was like, they kept hearing a noise, but they didn't know what it was. It was like just like some kind of jingling metallic noise they kept, every time I keep hearing this noise, so that we put it on the left. We can't find anything, right? Drive the car, we hear it, and one of the guys was like, "Let me see something." Somebody welded the frame with a Coca-Cola can inside of it.
It's amazing.
They had to cut it open and pull the fucking can out.
That's awesome. That's so funny.
I was like, holy crap.
I got laid off today and they're making me finish my shift.
Bro,
that's like, so good.
That is insane. Like, that's devious, bro.
Yeah.
That
Damn.
is devious, man. That is devious.
Oh, that's so good.
And then there was a time we had the feds show up. We were working on a car, and it was like, this wasn't the average 4Runner. This thing was like bulletproofed, glass, everything, right?
A 4Runner, okay.
And they found, I think it was 2 kilos of cocaine in the car. Like, and I'm like, what? Like, that shit was like some of the stuff you see at the dealerships when
crazy because I worked at Arizona in Chandler. I worked for Thoroughbred Chevy. They don't exist anymore. It's a different dealership now. Someone bought them out. But at the time, it was the biggest and oldest Chevy dealership in Arizona. And 2 years prior to my working there, I heard a story that one of the used car people that are interior brought a car that the customer brought it back to the dealership after buying it and was complaining that the passenger window wouldn't roll down all the way. Okay, I guess that got missed in the inspection. So they were told, take it apart, figure it out, we'll get whatever they need. They opened it up and found $17,000 in cash and reported it. I would have been like, block of wood? Yeah, for some reason there's this piece of wood in there. I took it out, it works great now. Like, what are you doing? There was no cameras at this shop.
Some people are just that way. Like, honestly, like, some people are just that way. And I'm not even mad at it because, like, it's weird because in some situations I would be like, report this. And then in some situations I would be like,
it depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation, right? So it's like, depending on the situation, you might want to report it because you don't know who that belongs to or who might be looking for it.
If it was a car that, say I worked at the auction house that got the repoed car, and we're doing the detail on it, and we found that much cash, I'd say something.
Yeah.
Because whoever they got that car from repo from, gonna come looking.
Exactly.
But it already went through an auction, or the person sold it to the dealership, and then it got sold to another person, so the title's changed hands. Why the fuck would you say anything?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You think the customer's gonna take their own door panel off, put $17,000 in there, and see if you honored the honor rule? They're gonna open their own door panel and get their own cash out.
Well, that's like people who like back in the day, they would stash money in the walls of their home.
Yeah.
And their mattresses and stuff like that. Like, there's plenty of times where guys, they're furniture movers, right? They move furniture out of old houses and stuff like that, and they find money in the furniture and all kinds of crazy shit like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, that kind of shit happens all the time, man. You know? And people don't realize, like, people do crazy ass shit.
Weird.
You know what I mean? You buy an old house that's been sitting for 20, 30 years. You go in the attic and you find antique shit that's worth thousands and thousands of dollars.
Crazy.
You know? So it's just like, hey, you never know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah.
car thing though, like the auctions. Man, that's insane. 17 grand.
And this was 04, I want to say. 05. That was a lot of money.
17.
Even now, it's a lot of money.
17 grand just in the door panel.
Yeah. Wouldn't let the window roll down. You'd think the guy that put that there either had to fucking bail on the car and just couldn't get back to it.
Yeah.
And
or he's dead.
Or he's dead, or they got through the other 3 doors and forgot about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, people don't misplace 17 grand.
Nah, bro. No. Not at all. Especially if you know it's there.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and then you just let it go. Like, something major had to happen. Something had to happen for you to walk away. For you to walk away from that from that. Just cause.
And I mean that. Okay. And the car. I don't remember what the car was, but I remember having the thought when I was told the story, because they did tell me the car. I don't remember now, but I had the thought. That amount of money was almost double the amount of the car. And at that point, who does the money belong to?
It was a stash car.
Well, no. The owner of the car that just bought it? Or the tech that found it and reported it? Or the dealership? Who owned that money?
Well, technically,
the owner of the car.
The owner of the car.
Yeah.
Whoever has the title or the retitle of the car owns it, because it's.
But I mean, Arizona is also notorious for people getting their cars stolen, being used to smuggle shit, and then somehow they find it and then goes to auction from the legit owner, and then they're like, I don't want any more insurance, they'll take it, go to auction, dealership will buy it, put whatever they need to resell it, off it goes. So it's notorious for that to happen down there because it's a border state, so.
Interesting.
Not uncommon.
So basically, if I want to buy a car that might possibly have money hiding within the frame of it, I need to go to Arizona.
The likelihood that there's still money. You'd be more pressed to find weed bud seeds in there.
Oh, I'm sure.
And we have that easily here.
Everywhere.
So.
Like, I don't have to go anywhere for that.
But if you want a car that has moderate to light, not even moderate, very light rust that's easy to fix and it's sound to drive, Arizona's your place. Hands down.
Don't know about the mileage, though.
Doesn't matter. Because chances are anything old that you're going to want to fix up, you're going to be rebuilding a motor. But a good foundation to start with, a good chassis, decent body panels. Interior is going to be gone in any state.
Yeah.
But Arizona's going to have your best metal.
And interior can be replaced anyway.
Yeah.
So, some of the custom interiors that you can get now are freaking beautiful. So,
yeah. The interior game's come a long way.
Yes, it has. It really has.
Is that velvet?
Dude, I think one of the most beautiful interiors I've ever seen was my neighbor back in the day. This was like late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They had it was an Impala vert.
What year?
I don't remember the year, man. What the when did this happen? I didn't even see you do that.
As soon as you put your head down when I made you laugh, I was just waiting for one of those moments.
Bro. Oh man. It was a convertible Impala.
My fucking stomach hurts.
Midnight black. That was funny. Midnight black with all black and white leather interior, checkerboard pattern. Beautiful freaking car, man. Beautiful car.
Well, if it was a convertible, the Impala hasn't been a 2-door in decades.
So it had to either be early 80s or 70s.
Most likely it was.
Or older.
It had to be. I don't remember, man. All I know is like I've seen it. I've seen it twice, and I never saw it again. And I was just like, man, that's a beautiful car, bro. Like I was never a fan of convertibles until I saw that, and I was like, that is amazing.
The only convertible I like is a Chrysler LeBaron.
Chrysler LeBaron.
It's a terrible car.
What?
It's a terrible car. It's so bad.
I've never even heard of that.
No?
No.
Oh.
Chrysler.
Was it
LeBaron?
Cake that did that song? I want a girl in a short skirt and short skirt, long jacket. In that song, they talk about she has her 87 Chrysler LeBaron or convertible or whatever. I think it's that song. It's a funny line in the song.
Short skirt, long jacket.
I want a girl with the short skirt and a long, long jacket. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Who is this?
Cake.
Cake. I've never heard that song. I have to look that up.
They were a techno pop type of group in the 90s.
Yeah, I was heavy into rap music back then. I wasn't listening.
Not me.
I wasn't listening to no techno and no pop.
I think it'd be more, maybe pop alternative.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Chrysler LeBaron. I'm gonna look that up.
It's
A horrible movie.
terrible.
I mean, once you say Chrysler, it's like, okay, what are we gonna talk?
You remember the old Chrysler 88s?
Uh-huh.
Make it a convertible.
Ew.
Mm-hmm. Terrible.
Okay. Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. Way to go. Way to go, Chrysler. And your PT Cruiser. Dipshits.
Oh man, the PT Cruiser wasn't a bad car.
It's a fucking
just
neon.
got, like,
It's a fucking neon.
I mean, yeah. But
And the neon's a terrible car.
it looked better than the neon though.
Ooh, we made bubbly smooth, but couldn't quite capture the essence of the 1940s Ford. Just like the SSR was a terrible truck. The only thing good about that truck was the motor. That's it. You couldn't use the bed. You couldn't even put a quad in that thing. And forget about the mechanical hardtop convertible part of that on a single cab pickup. What? Idiots. Terrible.
People still bought it though.
Not that many. That's why they stopped making it.
So, okay.
They're always gonna sell the vehicles because people have to have the new.
This is true. Okay, so
Yo, let's talk cars. I like this.
what is top 5 for you?
Top 5 cars?
Top 5,
In what class?
no class, no genre.
Well, okay.
If you had 5 slots in your garage and you could put any 5 cars in there, what would they be?
Well, a given is my 1990 Chevy Suburban. That's right outside.
Well, I'm not talking about the ones you already have. We already know you got.
I would be betraying who I am as me if I didn't have that truck.
No.
So it's got the top 5 spot.
Okay.
It's who I am.
Okay.
It's gonna be there.
5 extra.
Oh, okay. That's different. Diablo SV.
Diablo SV. Now I gotta have to get Google because I don't know what that is.
Don't worry, guys. I'll put up a picture on the screen. Lamborghini Diablo SV.
Oh, Lambo. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Gotcha.
Lamborghini Diablo SV.
All right.
And it was either between that or the Countach. But the Diablo SV, man, it's
Diablo SV.
when Need for Speed came out with the Lamborghinis in that game. And I'm talking the first Need for Speed. You can't even play them on modern computers anymore because they're not compatible unless someone comes up with interpretation languages.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Yep. That's one of them.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not that much of a Ford guy, I gotta have Eleanor. 67 Mustang Fastback.
Okay. I agree with you on that one. But I would prefer, honestly, I like Eleanor, but I would prefer the Boss.
See, that's a lot of people say that too. I'm one of the guys that I have to have the 67.
Yeah,
And the Boss is the 68, 69.
68, 69. I would prefer the Boss over the Eleanor.
I like the front end on the 67 more.
Well,
That's just me, though.
It's still a Ford.
Yeah,
So
it's still a Ford, and it's damn near the only Ford I would ever want to own.
if I ever rephrase, when I become wealthy enough to just spend money on frivolous things for absolutely no fucking reason at all, I will own a Boss.
Nice,
That
nice.
is the one old
Now-
school muscle car that I definitely will have.
Here's something that I'm really excited about that once I get a little bit of money, I can do. There are 67 coupes out there for sale that are destroyed for under $3,000.
Yeah.
They sell the metal kit to make it a fastback for $10,000. Every piece you need to convert the back of that car to a fastback. And I have all the technology, skills, and tools to do it. I know how to do it. I can have a fastback Mustang for under $20,000. A 67.
That's not bad.
Because if I was to do just that, just make the shell and get it in a base color, the whole thing, probably black, and just have the shell rust free, rolling chassis, I could sell just that for 40, if not $50,000.
This is true as well. You double your money. Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay, so there's two. The Diablo SV and the 67 Mustang Fastback. I'm gonna have to put the Fairlady Z.
I agree with that too. I agree with you. on
74 240Z Fairlady.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Beautiful car, beautiful design. Pininfarina designed the dang thing. The door handles are on the bottom of the door. That dashboard, amazing. Love it.
It's a
Way ahead
classic.
of its time.
It's a classic, man. That's a classic car.
Yeah, way ahead of its time. So there's three. There's so many good cars. Do I want a Chrysler or Plymouth in there? Because you got your Cudas, you got your Challengers. The Challenger's a good one. Good old Challenger. I'm not much of a Mopar guy, though. But I say that saying that I'm a Chevy guy, but I like Chevy trucks. I don't really. The Camaro's overplayed. Everybody's got to have a Camaro.
I would rather,
I've seen him too much.
I would take the Barracuda over Camaro.
Yeah. And if I was going to go for a Camaro, I'd go for an 87. But I don't want that in my dream garage. That's too easy to get. Could always go Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am.
You don't see those. You don't see enough of those.
You don't. But it's not, it doesn't have that place in my heart. That's tough. '67 GTO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful car.
That's a beautiful car. That's a beautiful car. Yeah. And you barely see those anywhere.
Barely. You don't see them. Those are unicorns. Unicorns.
GTO.
Love that car.
Yeah. I could definitely do the GTO. Man, but the only problem with that is you couldn't go anywhere without getting attention.
No, you couldn't.
Like,
Can't.
especially from older guys. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Well, any of the cars I've named.
Yeah. Yeah, you show up to a car show with that, and the guys in the Lambos are going to be jealous.
Honestly, I just had this thought process go through my brain real quick. It hurt. If you're a gay guy out there and you want some nice male attention, get yourself a classic car. You get all the guys you want talking to you. Okay? You can flirt all you want. Nothing might happen,
Why
but
do you process shit?
I have no idea.
Like, that's how you... Really?
You said, guys would come up to you all the time, old guys come talk to you about this car all the time. I'm like, gay guys, gay cars. Well, I have never thought of this. Gay guys need fucking cool old cars.
You are a very special individual. I just want you to know.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, but I would have never processed that in that.
the train to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put some cogs together.
But the GTO.
Yeah,
definitely.
67 GTO.
Okay.
Dude, the 67 was arguably the best year for cars.
Yeah. Yeah, almost everything that they came out with at that time was
67 Mustang, 67 GTO, 67 Chevelle,
yeah.
67 the trucks in 67 were
on
beautiful.
it.
My 67 Impala I have is beautiful.
Yeah. They were on it that
Dude.
in that time frame. I don't know what it was though. It was like they were like
LSD, heroin, MDMA. We were all going to the moon, excited, happy to be Americans.
I think it was like they were like, fuck it, we've been wanting to do this, let's just do it and see what happens type thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Arguably one of the most prosperous times in the growth of American history. 60s.
Yeah.
Not to mention, we could finally start to build cars that were capable of high speeds for the average Joe because the interstates were just being finished. A lot of people don't take that into account.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so we got the Diablo, we got Eleanor Fastback, and
Fairlady Z.
Fairlady Z, and the GTO.
67 GTO.
So you got one more.
One more. I feel like going outlandish. I want an early 2000s F1.
What?
Early 2000s F1 race car. I want to go fast.
Where are you gonna drive that?
Wherever I want. It's my car. But in the great state of Georgia, anything that ever had a tide or a VIN number
Yes, this is true.
over 25 years doesn't need emissions. Or if you live in the right county,
You don't need
don't need
anything.
emissions. I don't know if Formula One cars have VIN numbers.
I don't know if that's actually street legal.
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But there's Road Atlanta.
You could have it, but you would have to tow it to
Whatever. I have a 90 Suburban.
and then and you would probably get pulled over just towing it. Like, where are you going with this?
I won't get pulled over towing a Formula car. That's silly.
You won't. I will.
So get a box. Yeah, if you got a Formula car on a U-Haul trailer, you're getting pulled over. You put it in a fucking boxed fucking trailer. You jackass. I will.
Yeah, because I'm gonna get a U-Haul trailer and put the front fucking tires.
Go down through Buckhead with
Go through
fucking...
Buckhead with it, and I'm taking it that way. I'm not buying no box fucking trailer. The fuck? I gotta pay for fuel for this shit. What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
Like, who car did you steal?
Oh no, I gotta change 5. Not a Formula One.
Okay.
C2 Corvette, late 60s Corvette.
Oh yeah. Yes.
That's what I want.
Yes. Yes.
I knew it was in the back of my mind somewhere. I just couldn't place it. Second gen vet.
I'm not gonna lie. I was never a fan of Corvettes, but the old school Corvettes were always very unique to me. Very unique.
It was America through Chevy.
Not like
It helped that they gave them to astronauts.
that part, but still, like the Corvette. I think the Corvette will forever go down in history as like America's car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's between the Corvette and the Mustang.
They definitely sold a lot more Mustangs.
Yeah.
But Corvette's arguably the first true sports car.
Yes. This is true.
Even though the term super sport was coined through the Impala. Impala was the first one to get SS.
Yeah. And the SS Impala is still a badass
Oh,
car. I
badass.
don't care what anybody says.
Badass. And sorry, but when it comes to Impalas, anything after like, I'd argue 72, I give a fuck about. And actually, from any car. Don't care. That's all cheap, throwaway garbage. Because I'm working on a vehicle at work. It's a 2023 GMC quad cab short bed pickup. Garbage. Complete garbage. No one in their right mind is going to be going back 50 years from now and picking up a 2023 GMC quad cab and being like, I'm going to restore this. It's not going to happen. There's too many pieces that they will not reproduce or be able to find to make it like it was in 2023 to restore, let alone all the chips and crap that you need to make it work.
So that leads me to my next question. And after you answer this, I'm going to go and tell you my 5.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like that we're in a technological era, right? But sometimes I feel like we are over designing things.
There's a lot of reasons for that.
Okay.
There's the consumer side demand, right? That people want new, modern, creature comfort, XXX, all these things. And so the manufacturers want to design and integrate a lot of those creature comfort things into the vehicle to make the customer happy and buy their vehicle. Then there's the federal regulation side. Diesels have to have DEF. Cars have to be able to get so many miles per gallon for their certain class. They have to have certain safety standards. Safety standards I'm fine with. Make them as safe as you can. That's great. Federal law should not mandate I wear a seatbelt. That's horseshit. That's my decision. I'm the one driving the car. Period. If you want to make my insurance more expensive, fine. I should have that option. I'm taking my life into my own hands whether or not I'm wearing a goddamn seatbelt. Thanks for playing.
This is true.
It's ridiculous. But a lot of all those things combined factor into how a vehicle is designed. Certain specifications have to be met. And then we have to try to cram in as much as we can under a certain price and then source all materials to come up with a price. They're over-engineered, cheaply manufactured, cheaply sourced, and then overcharged to try to get all those senior VPs their goddamn yachts and summer homes. Okay? Good for them. They're making a buck. Whoop-de-fucking-do. They're making shit. Because you know, like I was saying, in 50 years, you're not going to go back to a 2023 and try to rebuild that truck. But in 50 years, people are still going to be going back and finding an 84 C10 and wanting to build that truck because it was a great truck. They'll want to go back and find a 74 F-150 because it was a great truck. There aren't enough Dodges Power Wagons from the 70s. I don't know how many will be left by then. There weren't that many to begin with. But do you know what the longest running vehicle that's still in production is?
Longest running.
Yes,
Still in
the
production.
longest produced vehicle that's still in production today. What vehicle it is?
I'm gonna say no, but I would guess. Is it a foreign or domestic?
Domestic.
It's gotta be either Chevy or Ford.
Yeah, you're true. You're right. It's one of those two.
Longest running production.
It's funny because I'll see this question pop up in my feed on Instagram, and it's funny to hear what some people say. So I was curious what you might think it is.
I don't know. I would say it would probably be I would say the Ford Mustang, but I don't think that's the right answer.
Not even close.
What is it?
Chevy Suburban.
The Chevy Suburban?
Longest running production vehicle. Never stopped being in production, and it's been in production since the 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. With the name Suburban. It has been the Chevy Suburban.
Since the 30s.
Almost 100 years.
That's impressive.
It is very impressive. It's the only vehicle that's even close to that. Because for a while they stopped making the Impala. For a while they stopped making the Mustang. For a while they stopped making the Camaro. Every other vehicle damn near has been stopped being produced for a certain amount of time, but nothing else from the 30s.
And the Suburban is the only one that's stayed consistent.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep.
The question is why?
It's a great platform. How many other platforms under Chevy or under GMC or GM's title has it spawned? You got the Tahoe, you got the K5 Blazer. You got the Denali, the Tahoe, the
Yeah.
keep going.
All of those branched off of that platform.
Yep. And my particular Suburban that I have is a 90. And come to find out, my chassis is the exact same chassis that's in a single cab long bed. Same wheelbase, same chassis length, same everything. They just put a Suburban body on it as opposed to a box in a cab. Great truck.
And that's the funny thing, man, because it's like I was never a truck person, but again, me growing up in Miami, I didn't really need a truck.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Right.
In a city, trucks
in the
are
city.
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's like you live in the city, you don't really need a truck
Yeah.
unless you like work construction or something like that.
And typically, those guys live in the suburbs and drive into the city.
Exactly. But living in Georgia, you need a fucking truck.
Truck's pretty helpful.
Yeah. So like now that I'm looking into buying a truck, it's like, okay, I'm entering a realm that I was never in, but it's like I gotta find what I like, what style of truck I like, what. And my thing is, when I think about trucks, the first thing I think about is, do I want to raise it or do I want to lower it? Right?
Well,
That's the first thing I think about.
the parts that I know about you, I would do a mild lift and get some 33s on it, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the ability to go up. It has to be a 4x4.
4x4, yeah. What? It's not a truck if it's not 4x4.
Then you can't lower it. There's no point in having a 4x4 and lowering it.
So that means I gotta get 2 trucks.
Well, there you go. Get the S10, get the lowered S10. You have the mini truck, and then you have the full size with a slight lift.
Yeah. Okay, so did you see The Expendables?
Yeah.
The first one?
Yeah.
Remember the truck that Sylvester Stallone had in that one?
Yes, that is a. It's either a late '40s Chevy or Ford. I don't remember which though.
I like that style.
Good luck.
I like that truck.
Good luck.
I know I'm not gonna find it, but I like that style. Like that year, that body style.
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's beautiful.
It's like
It's timeless.
it's almost like you're a truck, but you're also muscle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Back when they actually cared what their vehicle looked like.
Yeah. Like I love that look.
Now, I will warn you this. Being inside that cab, you better like the person you're in there with.
Oh yeah, it's tight.
It's tight, dude. There's no room in there. And that was also when trucks were made to be utilitarian. There's no frills. Anything you want to make it nice with, you got to find a way to put it in there with that tiny cabin. And dude, it's a fun venture once you get into the mechanics of it and you appreciate how it's made and what you're going to do to it and you really get into it, and you have to have a certain appreciation for metal.
Yeah.
Oh, it can be so much fun.
Yeah. I like muscle. That's the thing. Like I said, my number one old school is the Boss.
Well, anything can be muscle.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean the look wise, right? Like
There's certain types of muscle too.
This is true.
Because you take your Fairlady Z,
The Fairlady Z
that doesn't look like muscle.
doesn't look like muscle.
It looks like sleek, beautiful
It's-
caressness.
Yes, but if you got the right tuning,
Now, junk the
Like,
goddamn motor that
you know what I'm
comes in.
saying?
It's getting an LS.
like put the right motor in there,
Yeah.
and it's sleek, it's sexy, but it'll bust your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, that thing's so low to the ground.
You know what I mean? So
Your ass is literally
yeah.
in the seat this far off the ground. It's stock height. I had a 76 280. I missed that car.
I got a friend back home, back in Miami. He only buys 240s, 280s. Like that is the,
He's a Z guy.
He's a Z guy. He had last time I saw him, he had 3 or 4, and they were all different generations,
Nice.
right? So, and he was trying to get the Sylvia, which is the
Well, that's SX.
That's the S. Yeah, that's the SX. But
Yeah.
he likes that body style too.
Those are great too.
Yeah.
They're great. Skyline's great.
Yeah. So.
I'm more of a muscle guy. I like my older shit, but I can appreciate
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I can appreciate that stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. So my 5.
Okay.
My 5. We already know the Boss.
Yep.
Okay. If I was gonna go the exotic route, I'm a fan of the Lambos. If I was going to get a Lambo, it would be the Aventador. That's the one that I like the most. But
Sure.
I would prefer. Don't ask me why. I would prefer the Aston Martin.
Okay.
I like
Aston Martins are cool.
I like the Aston Martin.
DB7 is one of my favorites.
That car is just. I don't know why I like that car. I just like that car.
Is it Bond?
It's not, no, because I've liked it even before Bond.
Okay.
Like, I just love the Aston Martin. Like, to me, it's like,
They're classy,
it's classy, but it's still
powerful
yeah,
cars.
right?
Yeah.
It's like you get a blend of a sophisticated
Sophisticated power.
power, right?
Yeah.
Like you pull up, you park that car or you valet that car, and people have
A certain level of respect.
respect, right?
Yeah.
But you can still line up with anybody.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's like best of both worlds for me.
Yeah.
So the Aston Martin would be my number 2. Number 3. Ford GTO. The Ford GT, sorry.
I was about to say
the
GT.
Ford GT.
Yes. And I did think about that car when I was going over my list. Now, do you want the original or do you want the new one?
I'm not gonna lie. I like the original,
Mm-hmm.
but I've seen the new one.
It's pretty.
That thing is
And it has air-conditioned seats.
freaking beautiful, bro.
I've actually sat in one. Because when I worked at a Ford dealership in Arizona, I was a lot attendant, and we had one in the showroom. I got to see it every day for a year.
That car,
Beautiful
man,
car.
is gorgeous.
And I also worked there when they had just come out with the '03 Mustang Cobra that had the Mistachrome paint job, and we had one in the showroom that had the Mistachrome with the Mistachrome leather, Mistachrome steering wheel. Insane.
Bro.
So, and the '03, arguably, with the body. I kind of partial to it because that's when I first started getting into cars, but the Mistachrome paint job,
Yeah.
you ain't seen nothing like it. I had completely forgot about the Salines. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
There's so many.
You got the Saline, you got the Roush.
Roush.
The
But the Roush is more just packaged kits. Because Saline actually had the Saline S7.
still nasty.
They are.
man.
But yeah,
And then
don't forget about Lincoln Filter.
yeah. And then bro, we could
Hennessy and
I'm telling you, man, like and that's like I say this, like I'm not a Ford fanboy, but when Ford decides that they want to make a car,
they make a car.
they make a car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the GT,
That was a car.
bro.
That was a car.
Like,
And I love Ford versus Ferrari. I love that movie. That was a
Amazing movie,
great movie.
amazing movie. And the fact that they were willing to go toe to toe with Ferrari.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Ferrari
Mr. Enzo.
Ferrari is a beautiful car. They make beautiful cars
And powerful cars.
and powerful cars. But to me, it's like a posh
Yeah.
car. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's that espresso.
Yeah, there you go. It's more of a
It's a club.
of a statement. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it's like it's a club.
It's a high dollar I got more money than you club.
Yeah, like, and it's like the fact that if I want to buy a Ferrari and then I want to take it and mod the hell out of it, that
They won't let you buy another
they
one.
won't let me buy another one.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's my money,
Or paint it.
it's my car.
Yeah.
Right? Like that right there, that's like, okay,
Just like you can't get the F40, F50, or the Enzo in anything but red.
red and only red.
Only red.
Yeah.
If I had FU money, I would get one and make it a rainbow. And I wouldn't even take it apart. I'd just tape up the headlights and the windows and just paint the damn thing.
Bro.
Just to piss people off.
And you would.
Oh,
you
taking
would.
a $4 million
Bro, you
Ferrari Enzo and just and then I'd put Jesus on the back and a unicorn on the front. But Ferrari style unicorn.
bro. I could see the emails.
Emails, I'd be getting death threats.
You would.
They'd be coming Riddler style on a piece of paper with
But
taped out
the-
magazine letters.
But the Ferrari F40 and the Ferrari F
Oh, they're great.
are,
Amazing.
to me, the F40 is, to me, the Ferrari F40 will always be a classic. Like,
Yeah.
I love that car.
They hit the mark with all three of those.
Yeah, definitely.
The fact that they were street cars.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
And this was before Bugatti was even really a thing. Not like they are today.
I mean, I wouldn't.
I give Bugatti respect because they have the Chiron and all those
Yeah,
200 plus crazy goddamn cars. Like,
yeah, but the price tag, bro. The
well,
price
yeah,
tag.
they're
And then,
unobtainium.
where would I? Where am I gonna drive it?
The Autobahn.
Like, I gotta go to the Autobahn. I gotta leave the country just to drive the car to
Yeah.
its full
Or
potential.
go to GM and Ford test tracks.
Again.
Which I didn't know this until right before I left Arizona. I lived next to a GM test track that was something like 5 miles long, circle loop.
Yeah,
It was less than 20 miles away from me.
They have, I think, the Porsche one here, right?
I don't know.
I think it's the Porsche one that's here. But I'm just saying, like, I don't want to have to go to one specific location just
To drive it,
drive a car, especially for the price tag that's on that thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's
So-
why everyone likes the muscle car.
So
They're obtainable. You can drive them anywhere.
So we got the Boss.
Yeah.
We got the Aston Martin
Yeah.
and the GT, Ford GT.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4 for me,
Mhm.
Acura NSX.
It's a good car.
I
Classy car.
love that.
The original?
car. The original.
Okay.
The new one is nice too.
It's nice. It's nice.
But the original,
There's something about it.
like, I've seen that car maybe a handful of times in real life, and every time I see it, I'm like, I love that car.
In Arizona, I knew 2 or 3 people that had one. I knew a lot of people in Arizona with cars.
Yeah. I love that car, bro. The NSX. Like, I don't know. It's just something about it. And then the fact that it's mid-engine,
Mid-engine, oh, dude, yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
to think that you could buy an average Joe could buy a mid-engine performance, like that car, that car in general. It's like it's the average. It could be an average guy's car.
Now the Camaro or the Corvette is, because
Yeah.
now it's mid-engine,
But look at the price tag.
cheaper than NSX.
Well, now it is, yeah. The NSX was how much back then when it came out?
But how much was the average wage? With inflation,
Well, yeah, that's true.
the Corvette's cheaper.
The Corvette's cheaper, yeah. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When they made the Corvette mid-engine, I felt like it was no longer an American car.
I hear you, but they've been trying to make the Corvette mid-engine for decades,
Yeah.
and the only reason they kept it front-engine was because of the fanboys.
Yeah.
And then they finally were like, okay, now it's time.
Well, because they want to move. I feel like they've always wanted to move the Corvette into the supercar.
Yeah. Well, that was
Category.
always what it was for
Yeah.
Chevy.
It was to move it
It
into
was
the
their,
supercar, right?
yeah.
And making it mid-engine automatically puts it in that range.
Yeah.
But it doesn't give you. When I see that Corvette, it does not give me Corvette energy. I see the Corvette
Yeah.
now. Every time I see that car,
It kind of looks like every single other mid-engine car.
exactly, and I'm like,
But that's the problem with cars these days. They all look the same. Tell me, from 300 feet, if you can name the difference between an Accord, a Maxima, and a Camry.
I can because I know the cars, but I
Your
understand
average
what
guy?
they all do look the same. Yeah,
And that goes with Malibu,
yeah,
Taurus, or whatever, 500, whatever they're fucking making now.
yeah. The only cars that really look different is the Audis, and even with the Audis, they still kind of
Just the R8, really.
They're starting to
Because
blend
they're
in.
regular cars,
Yeah, they're starting to blend.
they blend. It's only the one with that swoop on the sail panel that makes it stand out.
Yeah, you're right. They all look alike.
They all look alike.
They all look alike.
But you think back to a 67 Mustang, 67 Camaro,
Yeah, you-
67
you-
GTO, completely different.
Yeah.
67 Impala, completely different.
Yeah. So, damn.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. All right, so the NSX is my number 4. All right, and this one, it's hard for me to choose between these two because
Well, you gave me a gimme with the Burb, so go ahead and name both.
this is just going to be the fanboy in me when it comes to these cars.
Okay.
It's between the 1997 Toyota Supra Anniversary Edition. Okay.
Sure.
And
Great car.
The
Yeah, with $10,000 and some overnight parts from Japan, this could really be something.
and the
Try 100,000.
yeah, 100,000, and the Nissan Skyline R34.
Great Skyline.
Though between those two, it's always hard for me to pick between those two cars.
Yeah. Thanks, Fast and the Furious.
Well, this was before Fast and the Furious.
I know, but now they're the prices they are because
Oh yeah,
of Fast
because
and
of Fast and Furious. Yeah. So I remember. So no lie, same job, Toyota. We had a '97 anniversary coming to the shop. My buddy was working on it. Twin turbo, upgrade turbos, everything. Fucking car was phenomenal, bro.
You can't beat a 2JZ.
We test drived that car. And the funny part is, I remember test driving that car, and my brother was with us. And to this day, he was like, I'll never forget that day. That car, bro, when those turbos kicked in.
Oh, put you in the seat. Put you in the seat.
From that point on, I was like, yo, whatever I do, I have to own a Supra at some point in my life. Like, there is nothing like driving that car when it is properly tuned and modded.
Dude,
It's a monster, bro.
I thought the same thing until a buddy of mine in Arizona, he got himself, what was it? I want to say it was an F-250. It might have been an F-350, but a quad cab, short bed. And it had 38s on it. This motherfucker put a supercharger on that thing. Got about 750 to 800 to the wheels. And then did a four-wheel drive launch. And I was sitting in the front seat, and my buddy's in the back. My hat flew off of my head into my buddy's lap.
Damn.
Off that launch. Now, granted, it probably still only ran a 12 just because of gearing and size and all of that. But fuck me, dude. The launch.
So, let me tell you. So, this is why I liked working at the dealership that I worked at back in the day. The manager of that dealership at the time was a car guy. And he bought a old school Toyota Tacoma. And he asked my buddy to do a 2JZ swap. They put a 2JZ in a Toyota Tacoma.
How the hell did they even get that in there?
Bro, don't ask me. They got it in there, though.
What, they put the radiator sideways?
Listen,
Like,
when I tell you, the biggest issue, I was like, how are you even going to get traction on this thing? Because you're going to have to weigh the bed down.
you have to.
Just to get traction.
Have to. Especially with Tacomas that came out in that era. They were not heavy.
At all.
Toyota.
At all. Right? But the fact that
They had to have shifted it back and redone the trans tunnel, and they had to. There's no other way to get that in there.
I honestly, I wish I left the job before they finished that project, but that was the talk of the shop for months because everybody was like, yo, we cannot wait till this is done just to see what it can do. Right? And this was after my experience with the Supra, seeing what that motor was capable of in the Supra, and then putting it in a baby light ass truck like that. Like, come on, man.
Ooh, here's a question for you. Good list of cars.
Mm-hmm.
Good list. What is the fastest you have driven a vehicle?
Me personally?
Yeah.
The fastest I've been 160, I think. Between 150 and 160 miles an hour.
In what?
I was chasing
Okay.
an Audi R8. And this is when I owned my Infiniti G37.
Okay.
This was years ago.
Plenty capable to do that.
But I had to give up because I started
Yeah.
feeling the front end lift,
Yeah.
and I didn't have any
Spoilers.
spoilers or
yeah.
nothing on the car.
Downforce.
And I didn't have enough downforce, but I was chasing him, and
Yeah, and R8's just gonna keep going.
fucking dude, it was insane.
Yeah.
And then the other time I was racing a M3 from north, like your area, through downtown Atlanta, back on my side of town when I lived in Riverdale, Georgia.
Damn.
Yeah, I think that was like an hour drive where I was, and I think we did that drive in like maybe 35 minutes. We were flying, bro. We were flying. Again, this was years ago.
So in a car,
Yeah.
I got my my 280Z up to 140, and that that speedometer went to 160.
You almost
Stock
maxed it out.
6-cylinder, stock 5-speed trans,
Yeah, you almost
140.
maxed it out.
I was going.
Yeah.
And it still had more to go, but I had done no maintenance on the thing, hadn't even put good tires on it, and I'm like, I better slow the fuck down.
Yeah.
But on a motorcycle, a buddy of mine had just picked up a 995 Honda. Dude, in Arizona, on the US 60, every on-ramp and off-ramp is exactly a quarter mile. It's just how they have the freeway set up out there. From turning to go onto the 60 to the merge lane, I went from 0 to 165.
Damn.
Yeah. I didn't even merge onto the freeway. I just stayed in that merge lane and got off at the next lane and went the fuck back. I was like, it's fast. Thanks.
Oh man.
I had never been propelled that quickly in that short amount of distance. And I was like,
Motorcycles are a completely different animal.
oh yeah,
Completely
crazy.
different animal. Like, and mind you, my dad, I don't even know if he still has it. He's owned 2 or 3 bikes in his, maybe 4 in his lifetime. I learned how to ride on a Harley 1200 Sportster,
Okay.
and I wanted to get a Suzuki GSXR. That's the one that I wanted.
Very popular. I've never been a big fan of Suzuki's, but they're nice.
But then I had an uncle that had a really bad bike accident, and I had an uncle whose brother, well, technically my other uncle, that killed himself. And that kind of deterred me away from sports bikes. But I've always been a fan of bikes.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been debating whether or not I want to buy one. Like, I want to get I like the Harley Davidson Blackout. I like that one. There's a Triumph that I've seen that I really like. But
I'd have to get a cafe touring type bike if I ever got one.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and then it's like, I like the sports bikes, but
I don't need a goddamn R1 under
I
my
don't
legs.
need. I don't need.
I don't want
something.
that.
I don't need.
yeah.
I don't need a rocket because I already
Nope.
know. First of all, I'm an adrenaline junkie,
Yeah.
and I like speed. Right, so it's like I know if I get a rocket, I'm going to push it.
Yep. I just
Right?
want to putt.
I'm going to push it. So it's like, to avoid all of the speeding tickets and the possibility of killing myself,
I'll just get a putt.
just let me get a cruiser or something,
Yeah.
right?
I'm just talking for me, just like a 500cc scrambler. That's all I want.
But it's just like, man. And then, like, even like the off-road ones, right? Like, we would we went
Jesus.
we did side by sides when we went to Costa Rica a few years ago, and I fucking flipped it too. I flipped it because I'm like, we're going up the mountains and down the mountains and all this and other stuff, and I'm like having a blast, and I forgot that the wife is in this thing with me. And I gun it, bro. and I rolled that bitch. And she was like, oh my God. And I'm laughing. I'm like, I'm having
Let's do it again.
And she's like, I'm never doing this with you ever again. Da 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 da. And then sure enough, the next time that we went, she was like, I'm not getting in side by side with you. I want my own, and I'm driving by myself. Right? So I was like, I know, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
So I was like, if I get a bike, I know I'm gonna have to get something that I cannot do anything crazy with. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But when it comes to cars, yeah, bro, I'm not gonna lie. When I was a teenager, we used to street race all the time, man.
Yeah. I want to be able to get I want a road race car, so I can go just have fun at a track, and then I want a quarter-mile car, just because, dude, I've been watching so much Cletus McFarland and all those other guys that he rolls with. Dude, it just looks like so much fun.
Yeah.
What I really want to do is I can't remember the name. It's like Hot Rod Magazine. They do this like a car show, and then they'll drive 200 miles to another car show for a day, but it'll be a whole week, like Sick Week or Drag and Drive or whatever. There's multiple versions of it, but I want to do one of those.
Okay.
That'd be like super fun to be able to just take my car, have a couple buddies or my daughter or whoever, and go hang out with a bunch of people, record the whole thing, record the road trip, go to the next event. Yeah, do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I just like, I don't know. Like I've always been a car guy, man. Like, and I just like literally growing up. Like I told you, my dad had the old school Nova. He had an old school Corvette.
What years? Do you know?
I don't know what year he had. I know my uncle had an old school Corvette. He had the old school T-top Corvette. I think it was the
C3 was most typically the.
My other uncle actually had a Boss, right? So it's like they had these.
My dad actually had two of them.
Yes,
and then he gave them away to missionaries when we left Cedar City.
So it's like I grew up with this kind of like just in my blood, man, and I want a Boss so bad. Like even like the Mustang that I did have, when I got rid of that, I was like, I'm gonna get another Mustang. At some point, I'm gonna get me another Mustang. But it's just like now I look at the car culture, and I look at the guys that own some of these cars, and like, man, these kids.
If any of my old friends in Arizona happen to watch this, make sure you get a hold of a certain friend of ours and remind him of the world's greatest 2000 Mustang GT. I'll never forget the world's greatest Mustang GT 2000.
Oh boy, this sounds like an inside joke.
It is.
Oh man.
He actually was one of the first memes on the internet that I ever saw, because we were at a car show in downtown Phoenix, and he was lined up at a street light to race some guy, and he was looking at the other light, waiting to watch it go red to time it to shift and go. And he hit it perfect for the green, but failed to realize that there was a whole bunch of people in the crosswalk in front of him and almost mowed him down. And that was right when "Move, bitch, get out the way" came out, and someone put those two together and put it online.
Oh my god.
Love you, man.
That's crazy. I'm like, I meant like when my teenage years, man. Me and my buddies, we used to race all the time. One of my buddies, he had a Lincoln LS.
Lincoln LS.
And I'm not gonna lie, those cars moved.
They did.
Man.
They moved. They had the same motor as a Mustang.
Yeah, they were just heavier, but they freaking moved.
Modular 4.7.
I was like, it's crazy.
Or was it was it 4.7 or 4.9?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He had that, and then he got rid of the LS, and he got the Lexus SC400. Or was
okay.
I think it was the 400.
The SC400 was the more bubbly one.
No, not the 400. Then it was the one that came with the same motor as the Supra. It had the.
I think
it didn't have. Did it have a two? I don't think it had a two JZ.
Might have had a different top
Had a
end,
different top end, yeah. But it
But
was
same-
still the.
same bottom end.
Yeah. But it was just like the capability of that car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm like, man, even with the Lexus badge on it, it's still a Toyota base. You know what I mean? So
One of the only, aside from the Mark IV Supra, one of the only other Toyotas that I would probably want to ever have is honestly newer. It's the F Sport two-door
oh yeah,
IS.
yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
sexy car.
They are beautiful.
but I want it in that three-stage blue.
They are beautiful.
Oh, that three-stage blue. So, ooh, guys, I paint cars for a living. It is amazing color. And photos do not do it
You gotta
justice.
see it in person.
Gotta see it in person. And that's the same thing with anything painted candy. So anytime you watch Overhauling or Pimp My Ride or whoever that uses House of Color or Three-Stage or any candy or anything like that, yeah, it might look good on TV, but it does not translate. You have to see it in person. It's the same thing with gaming monitors. I had no idea what I was missing until I on a whim, picked up a 144 hertz monitor.
And now you really see it for what it is, yeah.
And it's like, wait, I get the buttery crisp smoothness that they're talking about now. It's insane.
But the thing, and that's the beauty about going to car shows, man, because
Yeah.
when you go to car shows and you actually get to see what
Yep.
these paint jobs look like and what these modifications look like and how these interiors really look.
Yep.
Like if you ever go to a bass competition, right?
Dude, I never felt some of those organs before.
Like people don't realize, like people are like, oh, you got a lot of bass. I'm like, bro, you don't even know what bass is. Like,
Not until you got 4 24-inch woofers rattling your teeth out.
bro. Like there was a guy.
And you're not even in it.
I can't remember who this dude was. He had, I forget the setup that he had, but he had a setup that was known for making women have an orgasm from the vibration, just from the
Yeah.
like it was insane.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Insane, bro. And I'm talking about, and then like when you like there, like even when it comes to certain music, right? There are certain bass notes that you don't even hear
Yeah.
because you don't have the right equipment.
When I test different setups in the Burb for different components that I acquire or whatever, I immediately go to Linkin Park Faint. Because there's a certain bass note at the later third of that song that most systems can't play.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It is crazy.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Oh, it's crazy. But like bass competitions are awesome. If you ever go to like a old school, like you ever been to the
I haven't been to many car shows out here.
okay,
I know
not
Arizona
out
car
here,
shows.
but I'm talking about like remember back in the day, remember like the old hydraulics and the old Impalas.
Oh, I've seen plenty of
all
those. Yeah,
like.
plenty. Dude, I live down the street from a few of those bad boys.
But the crazy paint jobs that they used to
Yeah.
do,
Yeah.
like
I've seen more than a couple of those. Yeah. It intrigued me. That's kind of why I fell into being a painter.
that the pinstriping and the all, oh man, like as an artist, as a designer, right? Some of the stuff that I've seen them do with a paint job on a car, like what?
I know how to do all that too.
Insane, bro. Insane.
The methods they use is quite interesting too.
There's some that they like, I forget what he was doing. Like there's some, I forget the guy's name, but he like uses like he almost like brands it into the metal almost, it seems like.
Yeah. There's certain ways of doing that, whether you're doing it with an airbrush or a torch, or there's multiple ways to get
Yeah.
desired effects. I've seen some people do spray some. They'll have the base layer down, and then they'll spray some water on it and let it mist and collect in certain water-sized droplets, and then they'll do a pearlizer over it and then use a heat gun to dry out the water, and it creates what looks like actual bubbles in the paint job. But it'll be flat. But because it dried with the water evaporating underneath it, it looks like bubbles. So it makes it have a wetness look to it underneath the clear. It's fucking amazing. And then you can, like a marble countertop.
Yeah.
So you get your marbleizer from House of Color, or you can just get a very heavy, clear marble base, put it on very wet, just get a Walmart garbage bag, just press it into that paint, and splotch it all over. And then when it all lays out and dries, it looks like a marbleized countertop.
That's wild.
And then, I did this one dash piece for a guy that worked for me, and he wanted some kind of cool little fancy thing. And I'm like, all right. So I go get some ribbon lace from the sewing store, and I put, we did red. And then I laid that down and then did a black smoke fade over the lace halfway across the red. So half is red, and then peeled that off, and it had the red underneath it with a faded black over it. and that lace pattern, and just cleared it. It looked amazing.
Oh man. Yeah, I just like that's, and it's funny because when I was younger, I was heavy into model cars and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I used to do airbrushing on the model cars and all that kind of stuff. And it's I think about it, if I would have kept up with the airbrushing and kept learning different techniques and all that kind of stuff, I could have easily went into painting, man.
Yeah.
But it's just I just didn't think.
It's a dying industry.
Yeah,
There are not good people coming into it that I've seen, and trying to get people at regular shops that are worth the shit.
I've had, and that's why it's almost such a specialty now.
It damn near is.
And it's funny because back then it was all over, and now it's
you couldn't get away from it. Now it's hard to find. Yeah. Not to mention, the last apocalypse killed a lot of mom and pop shops.
This is true.
And it killed a lot of the regular businesses. A couple of their shops that they temporarily shut down didn't come back. And then for whatever reason, all those people that worked there went on to different careers and fields, and now, we can't fill the store with people that can do the job anymore. Mm. And this is at multiple shops that I've been at. It's crazy right now.
Wow.
Because I'm right now I'm having to be a combo guy, doing body and paint. And I can do it, but it's not efficient.
Yeah.
Not for a MSO body shop. It's just not. Yeah. If I do nothing but paint, I can get way more done. But don't have a choice. I got to do it all.
I don't know, man. I know you are one of 3 painters that I know. And I've seen your work. You are phenomenal.
It's right there.
Yeah. And the other guys that I know, the first time I ever seen a pearlescent paint job was on a box Chevy, and it was a pearl that faded into dolphin green, and I think I forgot how many clear coats he put on that car, bro. But when the sun hit that car, you couldn't even look at it directly. It was it was
yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah, that's what I did with the pink on my Suburban. I said it. I got pink on my Suburban.
Man. And it's just it's the painting world to me is just the car industry in general. Forget manufacturing and making cars. When you get onto the side of modding cars and all, that's where the fun comes in, right? Yeah. Because it's for instance, you got guys that say, okay, I want to make this look like this.
Yep.
And they find a way to make it happen. And you're like, how the hell did you do that? I think that's one of the reasons why, when Chip Foose was doing his show.
Yeah, Overhauling,
it was
that, and they did it in a week. That was the impressive part. They did all of that in a week.
Bro.
And they did it right.
Yes.
They didn't hack it around. They did it right. Completely disassembled. Either repaired or replaced. Every component. Every component.
Yeah.
I especially loved it when he would take the bumpers at some of those older muscle cars and he would narrow them in and then cut the support brackets back and made it tighter fit, sleeker onto the car so it looked like it belonged there, not just some gaudy extension of it.
Yeah.
And then shaved the rivet heads off the bolts and then had it re-chromed and all metal finished, and it was flawless metalwork.
Dude.
Oh.
I loved that shit.
Oh.
Like,
That and his artistry, just the rendition before they did the car.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
See, that's the part that got me because I was like, wait a minute. So he's actually illustrating the car, and then they take the
his
illustration,
vision for it, yeah,
and they turn that into
reality.
Like, what?
And the foose fade, because he'd do some of my favorites were like he'd have this cream top or cream middle, but then he'd have like this champagne that did a light fade into a lighter silver at the bottom, and it just did this effect. Oh my!
Yeah, like I don't think there was ever a car on that show that I did not like when he got done with it. Like Chip Foose and his crew were. Yeah.
It definitely, some of the cars I wasn't big fans of, but it was only because I didn't like the car. But
Yeah.
it gave me an appreciation of how that car could be if you gave it the right love.
Look. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could take almost
Anything.
and make it look good.
As opposed to some belief, you can take a Tercel and do something with it. I'm not the guy to do it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
No, actually I could. Here's what I do to a Toyota Tercel. I'd Mad Max that bitch. I'd put it up on some 35s. I'd weld on some fucking rebar cages over the windows and a couple gun turrets, put some spikes on that thing, and give it a V8.
well, that would definitely solve the lightweight problem.
XO cage.
You would never have to worry about it blowing into the next lane at a strong gust of wind ever again.
Nope.
But I mean, like, okay, for instance, like, I think that's one of the biggest issues I have now when they make a lot of these cars, because like they'll show you the renditions of them or the illustrations of them,
They're completely different.
and when they actually make them,
Yeah.
for instance, when they released the illustrations of the new Toyota Supra before they actually
Looked
made
good.
it was
Sexy.
sexy as
Beautiful.
hell.
And then it released.
And then they released it, and I was like, this is not the same car. What did you do? Right? I'm like,
It reminds me of I don't know if it was a TikTok or where it originated. It might have been Vine. I don't know. But the guy gets in the car and it's like a passenger seat shot at him, and you see his hand go over, and he's like, huh? And then it shows an automatic shifter, and back to his face.
I'm just saying, man, like, there are certain cars, and this is just my opinion, there are certain cars that should never be made as automatic. They should only be manuals.
Yes.
They should only be manuals. Like, and if you can't drive a manual, then that's not the car for you. Like, that's like why do we make sports cars in automatics?
I don't know. Or with traction control.
I don't understand that. Like, if it's a sports car, it should be made for a sportsman who is going to know how to drive it
Yeah.
for the intent that it was made, right? If you can't shift, if you don't know how to work a clutch,
Yeah. What's a friction point?
if you don't know how to work a clutch, then why are you in a sports car? Right? Like, I understand paddle shifting, that makes sense for F1,
Sure.
but day-to-day driving,
I want to be able to downshift at 45 and
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe
It goes back to that Tim Allen Home Improvement. Oh,
I'm just saying it's not a sports car if it doesn't have, if it's not a manual.
now and as far as higher powers go, we won't even have gas engines. But we're not taking it political. Not today.
Bro. I'm just saying, man. Like when it comes to those things, there's taking the manual out of the sports car is just it's a sin.
Yeah,
It's a sin. Like
I don't have the words
it is
about how upset I am about it.
I don't like it. Like that's one of the main reasons. That's the other reason why I did not like the Supra the new one when they released it. I'm like, it was released as an automatic. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So not only did you murder the original design, then you made it an automatic.
Well, it's got the Tiptronic. Stupid.
Come on.
I want to grab a gear.
Come on.
I want to pull a second, man. Let's go.
Like you said, there's nothing like that downshift, or there's nothing like, you know what I'm saying, coming off the line, perfect shift. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
that achievement of the perfect shift. It's like chasing a perfect golf swing, but manlier.
Like, come on. It's nothing like ripping first off the line, ripping second, and then squeeching the tires second and third, and then dusting the guy next to you. Like, I remember the first time I made my buddy's car literally lose traction off of second and third, and he looked at me like, how the fuck did you do that? I can't even do that, and it's my car. I'm like,
Yes.
I'm sorry, bro.
I don't know how many times I did that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Those guys would be like, dude, look how fast this is. I'm like, mind if I drive? You know how to drive? Yeah, I know how to drive.
Like, come on.
I did that with the same guy with the Mustang. We both worked at the dealership at one point, at the Ford one, and we had to go fill up a 350Z, and the gas station was not at the dealership. And he took it in a straight line because he was a quarter-mile guy, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty fast. Got up to 130. Sweet. My turn.
I was drifting in third in a business industrial complex. And he's like, you're going to hit the curb. You're going to. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Bro, the 350Z, the 370Z, I love those two cars. The new one.
I like the
that they
370
released,
more. It's cleaner.
The 370 is cleaner. It is.
Yeah.
I just feel like you sit too low in it.
That's why I like it. Because it's more akin to the 240.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so what do you think about the new one that they just?
I haven't seen the 400 or the new Z car.
The Z.
It's not a 400. It's just a Z.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
So it was, from what I understand, the design was
They're doing a retro modern.
back to the retro design,
Okay.
with a modern spin on it.
I got to
Right?
look it up.
So I think they did a great job with that. I just don't know about the performance side of it.
That is.
It's a very, very, very well designed car to be for as a throwback to the retro.
It is. It's not as long as the nose as it should, but it's proportional and probably very well balanced.
Yes. And then,
I'll have to look up more stuff about. Oh, they brought back the cone nose in the front of the hood.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this one might.
Desi-
People in 50 years might go back and try to
Design
fuck with that
wise,
one.
that is a beautiful car. Design wise, is a beautiful car.
The problem with modern cars is there's too much goddamn plastic on them.
This is true.
Put metal trim back on cars. Charge more. I don't care. Bring back the chrome trim that's actual chrome. Not this plastic horse shit.
But again, most people don't care about that. That's the other thing.
My 67 Impala that's the only shit that survived is the chrome. it's still pristine. I just had to polish it a little bit, and it came right back. If that shit was plastic,
Yeah, it'd be done. Done. Yeah. But that's the thing about the older cars, though, right? Like, it was metal work.
but that's why they keep getting restored.
Yeah.
These cars today are never gonna be restored.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You just have to replace it or buy another one.
And
restore it.
who's gonna have the fucking manufacturing dyes that molded that fucking material? Nobody.
Yeah. I don't know. Building cars was an art form back then. Making a great car was an art form. You know? So, I don't know.
Shit, we completely forgot about the Pantera.
Bro, there's so many, man. There's so many.
And I'm sure people that are watching, whenever they watch it, are gonna be like, "What about this one?"
I
Oh,
mean, we can talk to Pantera. We can talk to Bel Air.
L55, yeah. I've worked on lots of those.
Right. We said Barracuda, the
Yeah.
Roadrunner.
Yeah. Dart.
The Dart.
Studebakers. Fucking.
Grand National.
Fucking Buick's 40s and 50s cars. Oh, what are they called? They're gorgeous goddamn cars.
Buick's 40s.
The Buick Special, or the Roadmaster.
Roadmaster. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
Those were the gangster cars.
never mind a 67 Lincoln Continental.
Oh, come on, man.
67, baby.
You cannot. That right there. The Lincoln Continental, you was either a mobster or a pimp.
Or president.
Or a president, bro. Like, you was somebody of importance.
Of note.
Like, you was somebody that everybody knew.
Hey, I'll hop in.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man.
Not to mention it was the car featured on Entourage.
This is true too. Like that, man. Lincoln. I strongly believe that Lincoln was started by a mob boss. Because every car they ever made, bro, big ass trunk, 5 or 6 bodies in that bitch. Okay.
You've seen the trunk of my Impala.
Come on, bro. The mob started Lincoln, bro. I'm telling you. They're like, we need cars that we can use to get rid of shit.
Yeah. That and Cadillac.
Cadillac too, man. Like
That what was it? CTSV.
Mm-hmm.
Dude. I don't care if it's Cooper wagon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And now they got
600 horsepower factory.
They got is it the night? What is it called? I forget what it's called now. It's night something, but that car is beautiful too. It's fast, bro. And it's fast.
I can have an appreciation for all these newer modern cars in their time, but as far as longevity, I that's why I'm always going to be an old metal guy.
I mean, longevity wise, the newer cars can't hold a candle.
15, 20 years, they're going to fall apart.
Yeah. Like,
period. And most people, that's the other reason, going back to that production federal mandate shit.
Mm-hmm.
They also make cars for how long people averagely hold on to them. They don't.
Yeah.
They get a new one, just like an iPhone. Oh, there's a new one this year, I'll get that.
Yeah, they trade them in.
Perpetual fucking payments.
Yeah.
I don't have a car note and I own 3 cars.
I mean, again, but we come from a different time. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a boomer.
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not
even
saying-
Gen X.
I'm not
Well, I
saying
hear
that.
I hear you.
But like most, like okay, think about this. People don't even buy cars anymore. They lease them.
Yeah.
They just get a lease so that when the newer model comes out, they can just turn it in and go get something else.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's like if the smart money goes and spends $500 on a 97 Civic and puts that around and saves what they would have been spending on a car note, even if it's half of what it would have been, say 100, 150 bucks a month,
Yeah.
save up for 2 years. You'll have money to go get your base for a cool car.
Yeah.
And during that time, you could be doing research, whether it's YouTube University or whatever, to learn how to do it. All my knowledge I got on cars was asking other guys questions and reading Chilton or Hayes manuals. There was no YouTube.
No, there was forums.
Not when I was learning.
I remember when I was building my Civic, I was on a car forum with nothing but Civic.
I lied.
OS.
There probably was forums. I was just too stupid to use them.
So, cause like I literally, bro, I bought my car. I bought my Civic from. I called my buddy. I said, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for. I need you to get it for me. Have it shipped up to Georgia. Pay $600 for the car.
Galileo 16 or Galileo 24?
No, neither. What the fuck is wrong with you,
Fast and Furious, man.
No, bro. Pay $600 for the car. Had it flatbedded up here. Dropped it off. Bought all of the parts that I wanted. Body kit, interior, everything. Had that shipped to the house. And stripped the car and put everything back on it. All of the models, everything, exhaust, everything in 3 days.
Nice. Nice.
And the only thing I had to do was because I was going to do a motor swap, and then it was going to go to the paint booth. And then I realized that I could not get a baby seat in the car. And my daughter was, I think, 2.5 maybe at the time. Maybe. And I was like, I did all this work, and I'm not even going to be able to put her in this damn thing. And then I ended up selling it.
Damn.
I made back all of my money plus, but it's like,
I guess at the end of the day, when it comes to cars, there's just something about cars that just calms me down.
oh yeah, man. Like I can't recall ever.
That's a Furious
Yeah.
quote.
Stop it. Just stop. Like, but just the fact that you can literally sit in your garage and lose track of time.
Oh,
just working on
constantly.
the car, right? You
Just
know?
staring at the damn thing.
Like, and it's like you go in the kitchen to get something to drink and you realize it's the next day, and you're like, oh, the sun's up. Like,
multiple
what?
times.
Because it's just like you just get in that zone, and it's really therapy.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. So
When you were so invested, not because you need to, but because you want to.
Mhm.
And you get in a zone of just this melancholy of
Yeah.
doing something that does get you a gain. It's transcendent sometimes. That's what car guys seek without knowing it.
Yeah. And then once it's done and everything's running smooth.
It's never done.
No, it's never done, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing like being able to say, I did that.
That's the big thing. I did that.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. I think whatever it is, if you're an author, if you're a painter, if you're a poet, if you're a metal guy, you're a carpenter, whatever, it's nothing like building something with your bare hands
And just feeling it and the texture of it in your hands.
yeah, and just bringing it to that point to where
Fruition.
you had a thought, and from that thought, you made it happen. It's just a great feeling. It really is.
It is literally transcendence.
Yeah, I think everybody should be able to experience that.
Everybody should build even if it's not, $100,000 sports car, just build a car.
Just anything.
Just go out, find yourself a $500 whatever that doesn't have an engine in it. Whether you go to the junkyard and pull another engine, or buy a brand new one from Summit, or get one from a guy on Facebook, many places to get them. Find you an engine. YouTube University it, or Chilton's, or Forum, or whatever. Figure out what you need to do to bring it back to life. Watch Vice Grip Garage. You'll not only be highly entertained, but he is an incredibly smart guy that shows you how to get any engine running. And you can, just doing that, and you can do it on the cheap. Because I got my 67 Impala for $2,700 running. That's impossible, by the way. I lucked out. I already had the 350. It was out of the burb. I broke the crank in it. Tore it apart, did some diagnosing. It broke of its own accord. Nothing else was wrong with the motor. Spent $200 on a new crank. Came with the bearings and races. Got a seal kit for the entire engine. Doesn't leak a drop. This is only the third engine that I've overhauled myself. Doesn't leak. Runs great. For less than $550, I have a 200 horsepower 350 out of a 90 Suburban. Dropped right in there, bolted in, and then the transmission broke, so now I get to rebuild a Powerglide. Great.
You love it.
I do. But the parts for it are under $500 to rebuild a Powerglide. I've already researched it. So I'll learn how to do that.
There you go.
And have myself my car back. But so far, with tires, wheels, suspension components that were worn, shocks, fixing the gas tank, I think all in all, I'm still under $6,000 total spent on that car.
Telling you, man.
And that's way over what you could possibly do it for. Find yourself a $500 C10 long bed, short bed Chevy, or long bed Chevy. $500. Probably will still have the turbo 350 in it, no engine. Find yourself an engine.
I'm gonna buy a truck, bro. Truck.
For under, and then you get some cheap fucking tires on it. Get yourself some Walmart specials or Tire Rack or whatever. I'm doing a tribute car, so I had to get certain fucking rims and certain fucking tires. But you can get a car on the road under $2,000, easy,
Oh yeah, definitely.
with no engine when you get it.
Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to get a truck. I just got to figure out which one I want.
Yeah.
And then it's on and popping after that.
Oh, I also had a '79 F-150. That was a beautiful truck too. When it comes to Ford pickups, I wouldn't do anything newer than '79. I just like the older front ends. They're prettier.
I think the older trucks are nicer. But I don't know. Like I said, I like the old school, but again, small cabins type thing.
Not in those full size. So 74 to 87 Chevy pickups are just as big as my Suburban's front cab area. And it's the same for the Fords. So anything from I'm pretty much back to, I want to say, 64. And it actually applies to Chevy too. It's about the same cabin size.
Okay.
And Dodge for that matter. Because it was before that it was the more bubbly Fender, and those cabins were smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was really only Chevy that had the quad cab back in the 70s. And they called it the 3+3. And my sister-in-law called mine a 6. Thanks.
I'm gonna have to find. I gotta do some research on which one I want. But
Yep.
Once I figure out which one I want,
Leave it in the comments which one you should get. We'll see you guys next time.
word.
We've been going for a while. Probably over an hour.
Holy shit.
I guarantee you. See you next time, guys. 2 hours.
2 hours.